Hello everyone and welcome back to Educators County. I'm not going to ask you what's going on because I know you're at home building lessons, teaching virtually, and leaning on platforms like Khan Academy. Yet, sadly, I know you're concerned about the future of your school wholeheartedly in this pandemic atrocity. This episode's called Central Office Under Pressure. Ready, set, learn. Attack of coronavirus. It's attacking our nation, the world, and it's trying to unleash havoc on our education system. In all 50 states plus U.S. territories, school shutdowns have been ordered or recommended. Among our 50 states, as of April 16th, 26 states are closed for the remainder of the school year. One of the first states to announce face-to-face school instruction will end for the remainder of the 2019-20 school year was Kansas. Initially, everyone questioned their decision. But within a day or even hours, so many people around the nation were on board in full agreement and realizing their state was more than likely on the same path. Everyone knows some of the hardest hit areas have been Washington, California, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Michigan, Florida, and Louisiana. Kansas saw it coming, took action, and is sailing ahead via distance and virtual learning. Way to go, Kansas. In a different area of our nation, a condensed populated education system is sadly but literally battling coronavirus to the death. As of April 13th, the New York City education system, the largest public school system in the nation with 1,800 schools for 1.1 million students, has lost 50 school employees to coronavirus. At least 21 teachers, 2 administrators, 2 central office personnel, and multiple others have passed away. Led by Chancellor Richard Carranza, the school district is fighting this pandemic in a meritorious manner. To the New York City educators, we salute you and we support you. But it doesn't stop there. South Dakota, Georgia, Virginia, Texas, Missouri, all of these states have lost educators to the coronavirus. There are probably states I missed. I urge you to stay informed. A good online source is Education Week. Their link, along with additional websites I use for references for this episode, are linked below. Now think back to when school districts started shutting down, when yours shut down, how it made you feel then and how you're feeling right now. You probably felt slammed and caught off guard, especially since it came quickly and without warning. No one was prepared and the scale of the issues are gargantuan. To name a few, district resources are limited. Educators are not trained to teach from home, and we all know that within homes, digital resources, if any, are not equal among economic classes. Going deeper, this is an emotional train wreck for many educators. Why? Teachers are missing their daily human interaction with their students. Educators are used to goodbyes at the end of the school year when you send them off for the summer. In late May or early June, you're prepared for the ending and you hate to see your kids go, but you know your teaching mission is complete for the school year. Not this time. COVID-19 rudely crashed your annual schedule with a no-notice ending. COVID-19 is trying to sever one of the most valuable lifelines in education, and that's relationships. When students and educators are suddenly and without warning no longer together, disoriented doubt adheres to the relationship, and the growth of both succumbs to forces powerful enough to bring learning institutions to their knees. With that, our education processes are forever changed. In the past, if you were not a fan of using technology to teach, COVID-19 has forced it upon you as a necessity for distance learning. Google Classroom, Classcraft, YouTube, Canvas, Khan Academy, Vocabulary, and so many other tools are no longer additions to your lesson plans. They are the rebar in the concrete foundations for virtual schooling. Think of these platforms as the electronic logistics of education, and without them, your learning slows to a crawl while growth is stunted. Yet there are educators that more than likely paved the way in making these learning platforms optional tools for your manipulation. Some have worked with and trained educators for years. Who are these people? Central Office. What? Yep, Central Office. Neon disclaimer, I've never worked for Central Office. I've taught in the classroom, assistant principal and principal, but I've not worked at the district level. I'm not brown-nosing, and no, I'm not trying to get a job at Central Office. I'm just keeping it real. They paved the way. Prior to the shutdowns, many admin teachers viewed central office as the enemy. They don't understand anymore, or they forgot what it's like to be in the classroom. They never come around to see what we're doing at the school level, and they've lost touch with the molasses struggle of teaching. Because of COVID-19, there's been a mental sway of thoughts, like high tide to low tide. Proof of the sway are the massive amounts of questions, the type of questions, and the constant craving of information from school employees to central office in these times of crisis. Central office personnel are busting their tails about 12 to 14 hours a day, 6 days a week, and they're probably working about 6+ hours on the Sabbath. That's part of why parents and staff are receiving robocalls weekdays, weeknights, Saturdays, and even on Sundays. So while local TV stations broadcast the latest updates, while governors enact stay-at-home orders, or while the coronavirus infiltrates a neighborhood in your district, central office educators are discussing, adjusting, planning, communicating, and seldom sleeping. Blinding flash to the obvious. Central office is in a predicament they've never dealt with. They have no experience in a global pandemic, and they're using as many brain cells as possible to figure it out. Like a submarine in deep dark waters lurking in an abyss, central office is under immense pressure. Because of the initial battle damage caused by COVID-19, their capability to surface and counterattack was temporarily disabled, but our dedicated personnel have repaired what they can as fast as they know how, and they're coming up with different alternatives to fight the battle. In the USS Education, there is no social distancing of minds, and everyone is in this together. Think of it this way. It's the year 2020, and you're in a modern-day, nuclear-powered, super technology advanced central office submarine. But this is the first battle any submarine has been in like this since the year 1918, the Spanish flu. Multiple generations have never experienced this. Not millennials, not Generation X, not baby boomers, and as far as the greatest generation, in 1918, they were just starting to be born. It was the lost generation that dealt with World War I and conquered the Spanish flu. With a 100-year gap of knowledge, many central offices are signaling to each other, collaborating, and coming up with solutions in order to resurface, rethink, and repurpose the plans. Yet, we at the surface level, i.e. school level, expect central office to make command decisions quickly, decisively, while they're thousands of feet below in the dark under all that pressure. While modifying strategic plans in battle and facing an invisible enemy, central office is scrutinized, commended, thrown under the bus, and praised on an hourly basis. They are faced with the challenges and realities that were unthinkable at the beginning of this school year. So please, give your central office time to figure it out. Next, remember that they are dependent upon your state's Department of Education or Department of Instruction, whichever it may be. That's your flagship, sailing on the surface in battle, leading the carrier battle group, aka schools. I'm not a Navy guy, but this is the best analogy that came over me in order to articulate the pressure central office is going through. Finally, when your district does figure it out, remember these two things. 1, they know you're building the ship as you sail. 2, know the best decisions are normally not the most popular decisions. Regardless, support central office. In past episodes of Educators County, I wrap things up with what I call takeaways. This takeaway is different. It comes from an NPR radio article that broadcasted April 11th, in which Dr. Sonia Santelices, CEO of Baltimore City Public Schools, said it best on what her district is doing to overcome the pandemic attack on education. She said they must do 2 things. First, maintain a continuity of learning. And second is educational recovery planning. I believe her 2 simple yet essential points need to be, if not already, the basis for many districts across our nation. Thank you, Dr. Santelices, for your wisdom and leadership. That's all for now. Thanks for growing with me, and we'll see you next time in Educators County.